Sophie. This is Sophico, and today we are going to be talking about recycling symbols. Now, I know for years and years I was very confused by what some of the different recycling symbols means. It turns out that some of the ones I thought meant, yes, you can recycle this, don't mean anything like that at all. So this is specifically going to be ones that you will find in the UK. I don't know about the rest of the world, I'm really sorry. But I do know that some of these symbols are also used in other countries, but this is specifically for the UK. Don't sue me, I live in the UK, that's all I know, sorry. So we're going to begin with symbols that mean that this item can be recycled, but that does not necessarily mean that you will be able to recycle them where you live, which we will get on to in just a moment. So one of the most widely seen, most commonly seen recycling symbols in the UK is a little green square with a circular white arrow like this. I'm very pleased with myself for getting that into shot. Well done, Sophie. Now, what this means is that this item is widely recycled. Specifically, it means that at least 75% of local authorities recycle this, so chances are where you live, it's going to be recycled. Now, sometimes you will see that symbol with a little message above it. It might say rinse, it might say remove sleeve, and that's pretty self-evident, really. If it says rinse, you gotta rinse it. If it says flatten, you gotta flatten it. The flattening is quite important, actually, because it means that they can get more into your recycling bins. It means that they can get more in when they are transporting it to go to the recycling centre. So ultimately, it not just helps to prevent items from going to landfill, but it also helps to reduce emissions. So if you've got your cans, got your plastic bottles, remember to flatten them. Now, sometimes you will see a green square with writing in it and a black circular arrow above it, such as this one. And again, it's fairly self-obvious with these ones. It has exactly in the text what it means. One of the most common reasons that this type of logo is used is for items that can be recycled with carrier bags. Now, carrier bags can't usually be recycled with your normal household waste, but some big supermarkets, you may have noticed, have a big collection point for sorry, excuse me while I die, have a big collection point for plastic bags. And certain other types of bag packaging can be included and put in with those plastic bags. So if it says that on the packaging, you know what you can do. Same goes with any other type. Essentially, what this type of symbol means is it can be recycled, but not usually with your household waste. You've usually got to do something a little bit extra. Like me, I'm a little bit extra. Aha. Now, you might see one that looks similar, but it is a black square with a white arrow on it. Now, what that means, again, it's written underneath it, check locally. It means that you need to check with your local authority to see if it can be recycled where you live, because ultimately this material can be recycled, but not all councils will recycle it. On the same topic, you might also see that same symbol, but with a little line through the middle of it, and underneath it says not yet recycled. That is a lie, folks. Well, not necessarily. What it means is that less than 20% of local authorities in the UK will recycle that particular item. So it's always worth checking with your local authority to see if they are one of the less than 20% that do. Because, you know, I only found out the other day that my local council actually, you know, the little blister packs that you get when you take medication, they recycle those. I thought you had to check those out. I've been chucking them out for ages. I didn't have to. Now, if you see a triangle made up of 3 arrows, such as, got it, such as this, that means that the item is capable of being recycled, but it gives you no further information as to what that means, because there are some items, and technically the vast majority of plastic is capable of being recycled. It's just that most local authorities don't, because it's too difficult and not cost effective to do so. So basically that symbol is pretty useless. You might see another type of triangle made up of arrows, but these arrows are solid black and have a little man putting what looks like a bottle into a bottle bank, and that's because that's exactly what that little man is doing. He is putting a glass bottle into a glass bottle bank, as you would find at most recycling centres, and it's the packaging's way of saying this item is glass, recycle it with glass please. You've also got a similar symbol for aluminium, I can do words. You've got I've lost the ability to do words. You can get a similar symbol for aluminium that is two circles, I swear today. It's two arrows in a circle with ALU written in the middle, and yeah, it's just saying this is aluminium, it can be recycled as aluminium can be, please do that. Another really common symbol that I know a lot of people ignore is a little wheelie bin with a cross through the middle, and that means that this item is an electrical item. Please do not throw it in the bin. It is unsafe to do so. You can recycle this responsibly through your local recycling centre. Some local authorities even have little, you know, you get the little bottle banks, they get little electrical recycling banks. I know my council's got some that take small items like hair dryers, straighteners. I don't know why I'm going straight to hair things. I don't use straighteners. My hair is naturally this straight. Okay, so now we're going on to symbols that don't necessarily mean that the item can be recycled. The first one of those is this little symbol here. Is apparently called the seedling logo. My opinion, I'm not a gardener, but if your seedling looks like that, you're probably doing something wrong. Nonetheless, what the seedling logo means is that this item is suitable for industrial composting. So if you get a food waste collection, or if your local recycling centre takes a garden waste collection, you can usually put it in with that. On the same topic, there's this little symbol here. I'm not even going to try and describe it, just look at it. And it says okay to home compost. That's exactly what it means. It does also mean that it's suitable for industrial composting, but in addition means it's suitable for home composting if you have a compost bin in your garden. I don't even have a garden, so that one's out for me. But you know, anything that can be home composted can also be industrially composted, but some things that can be industrially composted can't be home composted because of a whole variety of things, because of the way it breaks down. It doesn't break down quickly enough in home composting, so can only be done in industrial composting. The little tree symbol, the tree symbol with FSC underneath it is, well, it's kind of in the title. It's approved by the FSC, the Forest Stewardship Council, and that basically means that the wood that has been used to create this product has been sustainably sourced, has been ethically managed, and so if you're buying any wooden or paper products, it is a good symbol to look out for, but it doesn't specifically mean this item can be recycled. Now, of course, if it is a cardboard box, if that's what the item is, then you're pretty safe to recycle it. If you see a symbol of a man putting rubbish into a bin, again, that doesn't mean that the item can be recycled. It's just the Keep Britain Tidy logo to try and remind you to dispose as responsibly of your rubbish and not to just chuck it out on the street, which I like to think that anybody watching this video is probably already doing, but you never know. If you're littering, don't litter, put it in a bin, or even better, put it in the recycling. Remember that triangle made up of arrows symbol? Well, if you see that symbol with a number in the middle and some letters underneath, what that is telling you is the item's plastic resin code. Now, to average Joe like me or you, I'm making assumptions there that the people watching this video don't know anything about plastic resin codes. You might know lots about plastic resin codes, but if you don't, that's what it is. It basically tells you the type of resin that's been used to create this type of plastic, and ultimately, you know, it's not the most reliable indicator of whether an item can be recycled or not, because again, different councils recycle different things. The numbers go from 1 to 7. 7 apparently is the one where just anything that doesn't fit in with any of the others just all gets chucked into 7. The best bit of advice I heard, and please, somebody who actually works in the industry, feel free to correct me on this, but I was always told that the lower the number, the more likely it is that your local authority will accept it for recycling. And I followed that principle, and I'm really lucky. My local authority is generally really good. They recycle a lot of things. They are very conscious of their environmental impact, and I know that not all local authorities are, but like, you know, number one, I believe number 1 is recycled by pretty much every local authority in the UK. So if you're unsure, you can I just knocked my camera, I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, if you're unsure, and you can see the plastic resin code, that will give you some kind of idea as to whether or not it can be recycled, but not a definitive one. Now, the symbol, that for years tripped me up, and I know this symbol trips up people all the time because most people don't know what it means. It is called the green dot. It is 2 green arrows in a little circle, comme ça. And it actually does not mean that this item can be recycled at all, even though that is probably what you would assume. That's what I assumed for years. But all it means is that the manufacturer of this product has made a financial contribution towards recycling across Europe. That is all it means. It can be put on an item that is completely unrecyclable if the manufacturer of the item fits that criteria, which is extremely frustrating, because also you think that if a manufacturer was thinking that much about the environmental impact of recycling, they might also want to make their products that they manufacture actually recyclable. Now, of course, if any of you have been listening to the news recently or reading any articles online, you may be aware that this is all potentially subject to change, because plastic recycling is not the be-all and end-all as it was certainly promoted a few years ago, or I remember it being promoted. China stopped accepting imports from the UK of plastic recycling, and now some local authorities within the UK are lessening the amount of plastic that they accept, and one is even considering just telling people to throw all their plastic in the bin, and they're not even going to bother recycling any of it at all. And this is why, like, so many people are wanting to go plastic free. Well, it's one of the reasons why people are wanting to go plastic free, because ultimately, even plastic that can be recycled, it can only be recycled so many times before it then has to be chucked out anyway. So this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to reduce my plastic usage. I do feel confident that my local authority will continue recycling plastic for the foreseeable future, because they seem to be pretty good on that kind of thing. But I also know that any plastic that I do produce, ultimately, if there's no buyer for it, if there's no buyer for recycled plastic, then there's less of a financial incentive for councils and local authorities to actually recycle in the first place. And that seems to be the direction that we're going in. So yeah, I'm just going to end on that point. I hope this video was informative, it was helpful to you, but ultimately, join me. I can do cameras. Join me on my journey to reduce the amount of plastic that I produce in the first place. Not saying that I'm going to be perfect, not saying that I'm going to go from how I am now to not producing an ounce of plastic. Wow, that's old school, ounces rather than, you know, grams and kilograms. I was taught well in school. So let me know how you got on. Let me know if you found this video useful. Let me know down in the comments below. And also, if there's anything else that you would like me to look into and create a video about, give it a little tap away on that keyboard and I will get back to you on that one. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, that went really high. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. I promise, if you subscribe, I promise I will not do that voice again. There we go. I feel like that's a fair deal. So don't forget to subscribe and to like this video if you found it helpful. That's all from me right now, and I will see you next time.